My bad. I was like, how come? I was like, you sound great. I couldn't hear me. Love it. Running the intro thing.
We make plays every day, yeah. We make plays every day, yeah. We make plays every day, yeah.
Pop your boy, Prophet Cappo, live in the flesh, live in the rec, chillin' with Scott Free.
Hey, alright, I'm about to, alright, here we go. Alright, this is the real thing. Hey, welcome to Playmaker as fuck.
Yup.
Yeah, this episode 4, and I'm proud, goddammit, to introduce the leader of CS, the Cappo squad, the Cappo himself, Prophet the Cappo. What's happening?
Man, it's Prophet the Cappo, live in the flesh, live in the rec, chill with Bogard, Scott Free. What's poppin'?
Hey!
What's poppin', man? What's Gucci, man? What's poppin'?
Man, I'm feeling pretty good, you know what I'm saying? Chilling in this corona climate, confinement, you know what I mean? Whipping up some content, you feel
Nasty
me?
out there, nasty.
Right? Gross even. You know what I'm saying? What's good with you, man? How you doing in this climate of things?
Well, you know me, just running around, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to keep the supply with the demand, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
No
yeah.
crisis. So, you know, I've just been running around. I got a little time on me, so, you know, I had to stop by and do this podcast with my mans, man. You already know, man.
Oh,
so,
man,
I
you
mean,
already
right
know.
now,
Appreciate
just trying to stack this money, man. So, what's good with you, though, man? How's everything, family, everything? Everybody straight on your end?
Hey, you know the family's good, you know what I mean? You know, I'm lightweight on the brink of insanity, being in the crib with all the kids, just because, you know what I'm saying, I'm so used to them being gone for like 8 hours of the day at school, and now it's like,
I feel that.
and what's crazy is I'll be up hella late night because they be going to sleep late now, and I'm like, then when they asleep, I'm like, yes, it's my time to just be like, you know what I mean? And then then I'm up dumbass late, and then I gotta wake up dumbass early because the little man, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's a vicious cycle, and by the end of the week,
vicious cycle. I see what's going. I see where they going with that.
But you know, I'm adapting. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, but you ain't lying. You ain't lying though about supply and demand. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy because my one fear right now, besides obviously death and shit like that, right? But the one fear I got about this whole Corona shit is them just fucking up the value of this paper money. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the value of money starts to decrease, you know what I mean? That's when I'm gonna be like, God damn. You know what I mean? Because that puts everybody on the same level.
I hear exactly what you're saying, man. I hear exactly what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everything's crashing. I'm like, bruh, this is, I don't know. But anyways, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to. We can definitely dive deep into that for hours, but that's not what this show's about. This show's about playmakers, and not just regular playmakers as fuck. You know what I'm saying? And I've known you for a good amount of years now, and I've been seeing you make plays out there. And then, you know what I'm saying, I've seen you in the field, and now you's a regular offensive coordinator. You know what I'm saying? Just making plays. You feel me? And you know what I mean? I want to take the playmakers down the journey, and you know what I'm saying. Well, you know, and in this case, you know what I mean. This story's like a survival story. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And you know the Prophet the Cappo story is one that you know, I might not know the full story, but I do know some key points, and but let's just take them to the beginning. Oh wait, actually, but before we take them to the beginning, we're gonna handle some real quick housekeeping. Follow us at the GMM Network. Follow me at Bogard Scott Free World. Shout out to our sponsor, Milk and Honey. Fuck with all their CBD goodnesses at www.milkandhoneytx.com. And follow my man, Prophet the Cappo, on all social media platforms. Go ahead and let him know.
I appreciate that, man.
Let him know the socials. Let him know the socials.
Oh yeah. Follow me on Instagram, Prophet the Cappo. That's PROFIT So Prophet the Cappo. That's me. I got Cappo Squad too. You can follow Cappo Squad, CAPPO Squad.
Hey.
And we got the Wise Up Records page. Follow me on that too. I got the Loom. Type in Prophet the Cappo. And just Prophet the Cappo everything, man. You'll find me. Google me, baby. Google me.
Use the Google machinery.
You know
Okay.
what I mean? For me, it started off as, you know what I mean, a young buck, you know what I mean, just like anyone else trying to get on the streets, and you know what I mean, you get recognition from the older guys, and, you know, and they kind of see how the way you move, and they kind of want to, you know what I mean, add you to their empire, you feel me, you know, kind of, you know what I mean, you do it over here, but you could be doing better over here type of vibe. And of course, nothing is given. Yeah, you got to earn everything. You know what I mean? I yearned for the knowledge of, you know what I mean, the certain information that I couldn't get, you know what I mean? So I had to apply myself. I had to raise my value to the older homies in order for them to see value in me, for them to give me more information for me to be who I am. So, I mean, I say that to say this. Hard work and smart work got me to where I am. So I can honestly say that me doing my work, my first name was Profit the Most. That was my initial name. You know, a mentor asked me what I want to gain most from life. I said, hey, man, I just want to profit the most from life. And then my name was that, Profit the Most, and then I was putting in work, you know what I mean, having that supply with the demand, going in as a young man, you feel me? So, and then eventually, shout out Ma Mula and Don P, you know what I mean, they dubbed me the Cappo, gave me my first Y shirt. And then from then on, I've been rocking. And from then, I've been able to just climb up through the ranks and boost my own reputation.
I want to explain something to the Playmakers. I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to explain something. A Cappo in the mafia, right? A Cappo is one of the bosses. He's an underboss, but he's a very important role in the mafia.
Cappo regime. He's the troop man. He's the one that handles the day-to-day operations.
Yes, because the structure of the mafia works is the way the structure of the mob works is nobody talks to the head honcho. Everybody has to talk to whatever their boss is, which would be you in this case. They would have to talk to the Cappo, and the Cappo he would make the decision whether or not the big boss need to know this or not. And you also are usually the one that would handle the hits. You know what I mean? If there was somebody that needed to get their head took off in the mob, it would be the Cappo who would assign the contract or even handle it himself. See what I'm saying? I just want to let the Playmakers know.
Definitely hands on. You right
yes,
about that.
And the Cappo title. The Cappo title is fitting. Is what I want to point out. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
Yeah, you're right. Don't come easy, man. Don't come easy. Yeah, you're right about that.
Yes. Okay.
Cappo must be a Cappo must be profitable. You know what I'm saying? Must be productive. Mm-hmm. That's number one.
You gotta do numbers. You gotta do numbers. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And here's one thing I want to also point out is that, you know what I'm saying? All jokes aside, you know, when we talk about, you know, this shit about the streets and shit like that, Playmakers, this ain't no fucking joke. This ain't nothing. You know what I mean? And we're telling a story, and in this case, specifically the individual story of Prophet. So you know what I'm saying. So I want to say that because I also want this show to be something of an influential. Like I said, this is something of a survival story. You know what I mean? From you at one point to now.
Okay.
To you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to glorify, you know what I'm saying, our life and you know, coming from the underworld, and you know and have it be painted as something that we promote. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, you just gotta take it how it come, man. You feel me? Like that's basically the best way I can look at it. I mean, no one can see through the future, but you know what I mean, you just have to take opportunities as they arise, and then those lead you to different choices, and hopefully it all pans out. You know?
Right. Okay. So also, Playmakers. Our man Prophet the Cappo right here, he's also one of San Jose's premier artists. You know what I'm saying? He on the bars. The bars are authentic. You know what I mean? There's credibility behind the bars. You know what I mean? I want you to tell the Playmakers, you know what I'm saying, just your background and how you came about rapping. I mean, we had your brother Kid on here, and Kid was talking. You know, so I got the youngest brother's perspective. You are one of the oldest in the fam. And out of all the cuzzos and shit, I want just walk us through like what it was like growing up when you guys were all getting into this music shit.
I mean, well, the influence of the urban culture and the music world really hit pretty hard. So you find yourself not being able to be understood by society, but you're able to listen to music, and they're able to tell you things that inspire you, or things that make you want to change, or things that their dialect is something that you can relate to. So
Okay.
through
Pause
that,
real
it
quick.
makes
You hear that, Playmakers? My bad. A part of the series, I always gotta point out
Okay.
ill shit. When someone says something ill, I gotta stop him. And he said, what you just said something so ill, it went over my head again. You were saying that the inspiration. Can you word that again? That was
yeah, I'm not on the other artists' inspiration, and
and the dialect. The
and
dialect,
that
it was
that
something that you could
definitely-
relate to.
Yeah,
Ooh,
that-
that was heavy right there. I like that. Jamaicans. Yeah,
Jamaican horns.
that was a good one right there.
Seriously, and you know when you put certain words in a certain way, and then they're able to communicate with different people, you know, and we put rhymes and harmonizations, which we call music. You know, it's just another form of communication. So me listening to all these artists is kind of like inspired me. You know, they telling me their story. Maybe I should tell mine. And, you know, they're going through hardships, and I'm going through hardships. And it's like, when you put in those earphones, it's like, it feels like they just talking to you. You know what I'm saying, though? Like, you know, it doesn't feel like, you know, the masses are hearing it just feels like their message is directed towards you. So,
Yeah.
and then through that, you start, you know what? You start picking up words that they rhyme about. You might start rhyming about that, you know. Their tone of voice and their delivery, it might become a part of you. And through that, you find yourself. So you might have a series of 5, 6 different artists that you love, and all their flow styles combined is kind of you. You know what I mean? No, so
I
and
like
makes
that. I
your
like
flow-
that's a.
Yeah, and that
I like
you
that,
see
actually.
what I'm saying? That makes your flow style. So basically, with me, how music started was the first time I ever recorded was in Africa, 2006. That was the first time I ever got in the mic. You know,
okay.
was in Africa.
Okay,
So
hold on.
that was a different experience.
Real quick, I want to give them a quick little background because, like I said, I know the prophet story, but you know, I want there's some certain things I want to point out like that, and you could build on that. Like, so you said the first time you ever recorded was in Africa. Was this when Iffy got into some shit and then they sent y'all away? Was this prior to that?
If my brother actually ended up being stabbed about 7 times, and me, I ended up being expelled from school because I was going from school to school with a bunch of foot soldiers trying to figure out.
Yeah, so when they sent If away, that you went with them. Basically.
Well, yeah, they were.
They sent both y'all.
Yeah, I mean, initially, the wording was because of me, because I was, you know, they wanted to have me do time. But if I left, then you know the jurisdiction and all that couldn't take place.
Yeah.
So, so basically, I mean, it was a package deal. So if I'm going, and hey, everyone's coming with me. So my brother ended up coming too. You know what I mean? No, and we ended up staying 2 years in Africa and really fighting us. So this is from 05 to ending of 05 to like the middle. It was really 22 months. So
it was like beginning of two. I mean, I remember because I met your brother. When I met your brother, he was like, I was already rocking with Dom and them for a cool minute. So when I met your brother, he had just came back from Africa. Like you know what I'm saying? Even the way he worded some of his rhymes. Like
that's 07, 08, definitely. That's then around that time. I came back my senior year in high school. You know what I'm saying? So that a lot of things change, but you get different perceptions. You really find yourself. You know what I mean? It's like you don't know who you are, and then someone takes you and they put you on an island where you and your people are from, and then you find out who you are, and then you decide like, hey, my life has more value than I've actually been holding it to. So you know what I mean? There's actually I want
to build on that. So you get sent away to Africa, right?
Yes.
And in Nigeria, you guys got a gang of family. You guys got hella fam, right?
Tribe after tribe, yeah.
Yeah, but so now tell me what did you feel a little bit of like prejudice towards you because you were like American? Like, did you?
Yeah, but that's just the youngness in me because you got to understand
because that is your roots. At the end of the day, you're
a rock star, and you don't know it though. It's like you can be here, and you're not knowing over here, but then if you go over there, you're a rock star immediately.
Oh yeah.
So, but you don't know that. It's like what I mean. It's like they look at you completely different. And it's like, but you don't know that.
I remember my pops, bro. He used to always say that. He used to be like, "You go back to the PI, you'll be a star." And I'd be like,
"Oh man, it's instinct."
And I'd be like, "No, I'm trying to make it out here." I'm like, "That's backwards." I used to think that was backwards.
You'll know. I'll tell you right now. You'll know your start is by how you get a taxi. You'll know because taxis they don't just stop for everybody. They know who's the regular, schmegular guys. So if you're a guy who looks like you're not from out of there, you'll find yourself with like 2 or 3 taxis. Like how do I get? Yeah, and that's how you know. Like, oh, okay. if the taxis can see I'm different out here, then I'm for sure. Then everyone else can for surely see it. So it's definitely some optics going on.
So walk me through. So actually, paint me the picture a little more about. So when you first get to Africa, and then like, so did you meet some of your relatives out there that like that brought you to the studio? How'd you guys end up in the lab?
Well, I mean, when you first touch on Africa, watch your bags, okay? Because if you're not careful, they will steal your bags, all right? So I was fortunate to come with some family members, and you know what I mean? That's definitely, which is probably in a lot of foreign airports, you know what I mean? That's the first thing that they do is when you touch down, if you're not careful with your stuff, they'll take your stuff. So number one, keep an eye on your stuff. But as far as how I got to the music, well, it started from me just from the beginning. No, once we started figuring out, like, you know, we might be here for a while, we started being like, you know what, we want to record, you know, and then we started freestyling with our cousins, and then they said, you know, we have a you know, my cousin's boyfriend actually had a studio, you know what I mean, and he of course, the American kids coming around, like, he would tell me it's more money to get the song mixed and mastered. I didn't even know what mixed and mastered was. I just thought he wanted more money from me. Like, I paid for a session, and he said, do you want the song mixed and mastered? I'd be like, oh, this nigga's trying to cheat me. He wants to just get more money. Mixed and mastered? What the hell is that? You know what I mean? So I was still young. I'm still young in the game. I'm not knowing he's really trying to help me. But, you know, we went to the, you know, it was basically, this is a city called Aba. It's basically like Oakland, but it's in Africa. You know what I mean? No, so you make your way around there. You definitely got to know the people of that residence. So we in the studio, we make it around. Like I said, it's my older cousin's boyfriend, so he's connected. You know, so he got
and he's showing little youngster love.
He's definitely showing love.
Your family. He's family.
He's family. You know what I mean? He's family. So he showed us around, and we ended up getting the studio. And you know, at first I didn't think it was real, but then after, when you start talking in the mic and they start playing it back, you're like, oh, this is real. And you start to really understand, like, the recording concept, where it's like, it's not as easy as people make it seem.
Damn, so you were like 16, 17-ish type of shit like this time?
Yeah, I was 15 turning 16. You know?
Shit, you was a youngin'.
Yeah, I was young. So it definitely, you know what I mean, it made sense for me to, you know, when I fell in love with music, I definitely fell in love with writing music. But, you know, for all the artists that's listening, you have to realize, like, writing music is not the same as recording music. Okay, you can master, it's two different things. You can master the writing of your music and the master of the recording of your music.
And that's why there's artists that, like, in this day and age, because, you know, I like to believe I'm cut from, like, the lyricism cloth, where it's like, it's a part of being a lyricist. You gotta write your own shit, but we're living in a day and age where there's no longer a term ghostwriter. It's just writer. It's just writer. No, like, because, you know, ghostwriters were because people wouldn't tell nobody that someone was writing for them. You know what I mean? Nowadays, you're in the credits, all the shit. There's no more ghostwriters. You're actually just a writer. Or like, if you might be a rapper that other people write for. You're just an entertainer. Like, you know what I mean? I like to feel like there's categories. You know what I mean? You're definitely through and through, you know, rapper, artist. You know what I'm saying? Writer, entrepreneur. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Cappo. I can list off the attribute, or what is it called? The accolades. You know what I'm saying? But, like, you know, that's why I even got you on the show, because, you know what I'm saying? Playmaker. That's some Playmaker shit. All right, so
that makes it happen. Hell yeah, I feel that.
So go ahead and get back to the Nigeria, because that fascinates me. Like, because that's something that we're like, you know what I mean? Like you said, you touched down and you were like, man, it made you realize some certain things. Like,
that definitely an eye changer, because I could tell you before I went there, I was probably ready to get locked. You know, I was doing a lot of things that, like, you know what I mean? No,
he was a hot boy.
Criminal intent. So, you know what I mean? No, but me going back there was really like, whoa, like, I gotta slow down. I'm like, you know, it really refreshes who you are, you know, because when you're young, you're searching. You know, you don't know that when you're a youngster. You know what I mean? No, you searching for meaning, searching for love, searching for money, searching.
And at the same time too, you know, when you're young, you think you know it all. And like a place, when you get sent away like that, you're like, all right, see, it makes you learn a few things. You're like, I don't know everything. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you learn it by force. You know, that's the thing that helped me grow. You learn things by force. It's because your parents ain't here to tell you, you know, don't touch the stove, it's hot. You gotta learn and be like,
So like, use the one with the bandage on his hand. He had touched the stove. He was like, I had to figure it out.
Exactly, you had to figure it out. You know? And I was really out there at 3 a.m. Like, you know, my brothers would be inside, and for some reason I have a knack for the darkness. So I'm out with the gangsters at like 3, 4 a.m. It's like, what are you doing in the middle of, you know what I mean, this city and like, you know, at this in this whorehouse at 4 a.m. You know what I'm saying? No,
And this is out when you were in Nigeria.
This is in Nigeria, and
Oh,
it didn't really hit me. So I'm like, damn, I'm all the way out here.
And Playmakers, I don't want to stress this enough. Nigeria is a place. Like if you don't, like you can't just be wandering around because they will snatch you up. Like kidnapping over there is big. They be kidnapping and ransoming motherfuckers.
Yeah,
like,
definitely during the election year, but you know what I mean. It's some of it's hype, but not all of it.
Oh, okay.
Not all of it. You know, you will get snatched if you walk into you know what I'm saying. But normally you'll be all right. You feel me? Though, like, but if you just walking in the bush, you know what I mean. No one around. You just lollygag. You might get snatched. But if you got some connections, some brothers, sisters, uncles, aunties, cousins, you'll be all right.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, but still a dangerous place to be running around at 3 in the morning hanging with gangsters. Okay, so tell me about the Nigerian music. What kind of were they on some gangster shit? Or what were they on?
Right now they're on like back then, and I would say they kind of on the reggaeton kind of vibe, and kind of like
Afro beats and Afro bass.
Yeah, you know what I mean. They're trying to break out of it. They're evolving, but right now it's still kind of like, you know what I mean, Afro beats and reggaeton and you know, just that, like, you know what I mean, that type of music. It's not really gangster trap rap yet, so.
Yeah, but like it's crazy though, because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I could just imagine, like, because out there motherfuckers be strapped up, like just big guns. You know what I'm talking about?
That's true. Yeah,
big old guns, like on the regular, big chains.
Yeah, they got guns, knives, but I mean, I got a knife. It's called a Zazu blade. It's kind of like a specialized machete. You know what I mean? It's used for cutting grass, but I never cut no grass with it.
How did you have it? Did you have it on the side hip thing? Like they had on a little hilt?
You could have it on the side hip thing. You know what I'm saying? No, but it's really one of those weapons where it's like, you know, if you walking around with it, then you walking around with it. You know what I mean? No, you don't really put it away. You know, you kind of just walk with it on your shoulder, and kind of like, you know, it's a certain weapon. You try to assert yourself with it, but like, yeah, and it's not as graceful as a sword, but it gets the job done. You know, I remember when some thieves were trying to break into our school, you know what I'm saying, because they thought it was vulnerable, and the security guard, which happened to be he's like a witch doctor of some sort, he actually hit him in the head with one of the Zazu blades, and the guy's head looked like a volcano. You know what I mean? It's just white meat and red meat and yellow. So many, you know, different kind of meats on his head. You know what I mean? I didn't think it was possible, but man, I seen, you know, you know what I mean? The way they say the white meat show is true. I don't know if y'all ever seen that, but there really is white meat.
Hey, trust me, I've got my dome piece split open. I'll tell you, I've seen my own white meat coming out my dome piece.
You know what I'm saying?
You feel me? I've been stabbed too. That's when I was young too. That's why, like, when I first met If, and then, you know, I got to sit, you know, this is when y'all came back from Nigeria. I got to sit and like, and over the years, I got to chopping it up with him, and we had a lot of similarities, like, and I, you know, because my parents, they contemplated sending me off to the PI. I ain't never been there. I was like 17 years old, but I got stabbed up. Got, you know what I'm saying? Then in the same year, motherfucker bashed my skull open. Like, you know what I'm saying? We was out there thugging. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah,
right? And like
real rugged.
You know what I'm saying? You know what's crazy too, when you're young, you know what I'm saying? You know, and your Tupac influence and shit, you don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? You on some other shit.
That's true.
Right? You know, it's kind of funny, like, cause, you know, I've been enjoying doing this podcast because, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're all kind of cut from the same line and in the same cloth, and we're all on the same line, but just opposite ends. You know what I mean? Like, when you're telling me this story, it doesn't surprise me, but like, because I am, like I said, aware. It's a story of survival. And you know what I mean? Because I say that because the story's not over yet. You know what I mean? It's still going on till this day. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still watching you flourish. You know what I mean? Okay, so back to so what was the I was gonna say, what was the craziest shit that you seen in Nigeria? But damn, somebody getting their head busted open with the white meat. God damn it!
That wasn't even the craziest thing. The craziest thing I ever seen.
Hit me off with it.
I mean, for all the viewers, it's gonna get a little graphic. You know what I mean?
It's all good. Playmakers, for all you little children, Playmakers. You know what I'm saying? Spoiler alert, this shit's gonna be nasty. It's gonna be some graphic shit. He is a lyricist. just with his regular vernacular, he'll be able to illustrate this thing in HD.
Yeah, I'm gonna give y'all time to look like this, you know. So we traveling, you know, we on a motorcycle. You feel me? You know, that's how we traveling from city to city. You know, you don't really want to be in and that's a form of taxi. You know what I mean? You know, have the cars, the buses, the motorcycles. So we on a motorbike, you know, with the rest of the, you know, gang. So we driving, you know what I'm saying?
And you can mob through all the traffic, I'm assuming there is too.
The traffic, so it's good. So basically, what the point I'm trying to say is, I never seen someone get ran over before. You know, so there was a bike accident a little bit ahead of us. You know, so you know we was I think it was maybe we was going to church. My auntie was a very big church goer, so I think she wanted to take us to her church. So we were driving, you know, and then we seen the accident, you know, and there was a I distinctly remember a man wearing a blue dashiki and a white dashiki. Blue dashiki guy was already knocked out. He was a taxi driver. He was running on the floor. And the white dashiki, he was the guy who was in the middle of the road. He was already covered in blood it was a bad accident. He was covered in blood. So policemen, and this is deep in the village, so policemen see something like that, they're like, they didn't really want to help. You know, my auntie,
they're like, fuck it, they're going to die.
They're like, you know what I mean? My auntie was like, damn, what the fuck? Policeman is not helping. You feel me? So we was on the way to church, so she was livid. You know what I mean? Okay, here come this big ass 18-wheeler. Now you gotta understand something about, you know what I mean, African economics and commerce. Okay, if they late, they might not get paid. You know what I'm saying? If they late, their shipments are late, they might not get paid. So you know what I mean? And on top of that, they might even get fired. So here this guy's coming, and he don't know that there's been an accident. So he's already, you know, claiming authority, honking his horn, saying shit like.
Yo, did we lose him? Yo, Profito.
Hey, sorry about that.
No, all good. Okay, so the 18-wheeler's moving on. Motherfuckers, they're like
moving the 18-wheeler. He's not about to miss his check for nobody. He don't really see what's going on.
He gotta get the bag.
He just seen a bunch of clutter, but he's at a certain speed where he made up his mind. I'm not stopping. You know what I'm saying? So he's kind of honking his horn and kind of like, you know, it's going down. So I'm kind of sitting there on the bike. I'm probably still about 16. You feel me? So I'm kind of looking like, man, I can feel it in the air. You know what I'm saying? No, but I don't really know what's going on because I'm still a youngster. So here this car coming
in this culture, like you said, if you know, even the police was like, yo, these motherfuckers is already dead.
Yeah, they basically like, you know what I mean, I'm not getting my uniform dirty type vibe.
Okay, so here come the truck.
Here, at least going 70, okay? So it's smashing. And the road ain't even that big. Not like we on a highway, okay? It's like, you know what I mean? I don't know, it's like Neiman.
So he's already running late. I mean, I hate to make a joke a little bit, but he's smashing.
He's already running late.
He's smashing. He's like, I gotta get the bag.
You know, so and this guy's already on the floor. You know, and it was like a 3-bike accident. So you kind of helping this lady over here, helping this old man over here. You're not really. It's all happening in like 30 seconds. So it's like the accident happened, and here comes the truck like 45 seconds behind. So before people can even react, it's all happening. Like cops, like everything happened like within a minute. So then here comes this 4-wheeler and it's coming honking his horn, basically like, everybody move, I'm not stopping, you know. But here he come, and then the guy's still laying on the floor, and basically, you know what I mean, and long story short, you know, I heard his head get ran over, and I can say
you heard the pop like a watermelon.
Yeah, the crunch pop. It's basically a watermelon, like the human head getting run over. It sounds like I don't know if you ever heard a watermelon getting smashed.
I've smashed a watermelon and pumpkins and shit like that. I can only imagine.
That's how it sounds, you know. And
I may have cracked a few dome pieces in my time, allegedly. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
the Cappo might have slid me a contract or two in our time. You know what I'm saying? Allegedly.
I'm glad nothing like him. You never had to go through nothing like that.
No,
that shit was.
Because you know what too is that's even just the way you painted that to me, by that picture in my head. I'm already knowing. I can only imagine how that shit is imprinted in your memory. It's seared in your brain. Even the sound of
pretty
it.
Well, you know, you know what I mean. And that's the big. I think for me, that's the biggest part is just the sound of like. Just the crunchiness and the like he's here and then he's not here. You know what I mean? No, just that whole thing.
You know what's crazy? I want to point something out real quick because we're gonna continue from the timeline, but this is something that just hit me because I was just thinking randomly for a second. But imagine if something like anything like that happens nowadays. There's so many motherfuckers with their phone out on that freeway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and you know what's crazy too is like it's like I feel like see, I know you're a human. You know why I know you're a human? Because with the way you talk about that story and the sound, you know what I mean? You're still empathetic as a human being. Like, you know what I mean? You're just like, yeah, man, the motherfucking shit got smashed. And you know what I mean? Like, no, you're nothing like that at all. And you know what's crazy? I say this to point out that in today's day and age, when everyone's just whipping their phones out, whenever there's some fuck shit, instead of helping someone, or even like, calling the police if someone's hurt, or or ambulance or some shit like that, right?
Yeah, you're
motherfuckers
right,
is trying to get some kind of footage so they can maybe use it to get some clout, right? But I say this because motherfuckers, they post so much shit like that everyone's kind of desensitized. You know what I mean? You feel me? Like they're kind of desensitized to it, the shit like that these days. You know what I mean? Like, okay, yes, okay. So back to the story. So that's definitely the craziest shit that happened.
It was intense.
And then what happened? Where were you? Do you remember like where you went the rest of that day, or like I can imagine that I'll be like I would have been double checking all my signals.
I honestly say I don't think we made it to church. You know what I mean? No, I don't think we made it to church. You know what I mean? No, so I kind of like I don't remember going to church that day. After I remember I was going back home and then like what the hell? You know what I mean? No, I'm like I remember a lot of blood too. You know what I mean? No, like the guy, he was wearing a white dashiki, like I said. Yeah. So it already had blood on it. This time it was just like, you know, and I didn't really, I didn't really understand what was going on until like I was like, you know, until I got back to the house. Like, wait.
I'd imagine if you run over a head, it'll pop, and then you got all the ventricles and all the arteries in the throat, and then you know gallons and gallons will be gushing out.
Yeah, it was. I mean, honestly, I was at an angle, and then like you know, what I mean, I was riding with like you know, what I mean, with someone, so it was like I mean, they didn't really let me run up in there and see like you know, what I mean, like I seen the whole thing happen, and I seen a whole lot of blood, but for me I wasn't like right close to the body where I could like where I could have PTSD and like you know, but it was close enough to me to see exactly what's going on, but I didn't get to like you know write a forensic picture like this is exactly like I'm glad I didn't too. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I definitely saw it all happen and seen the body and like
was If on this one too? Was If on this miss too?
I mean, honestly, I can't say that he was. You know what I mean? No, like he might have been ahead of us or behind us. You know what I'm saying? No, but I know. You know, I can't really remember a lot of my my brothers. You know, being there for this one. I think I just might have been me because it was during exam times. If was in an exam class, so he had to go to school.
I got one more thing to ask about Nigeria, right? So when you guys got sent there, was there a certain like bar they set for you? Your parents set to reach like, hey, you do this and then you can come back, or you know what I mean? Like was there like or was it like they sent you guys and you guys were like, fuck, we're here, we don't know when they're gonna let us come back?
Well, basically now that I'm older and I can really dissect what my pops were trying to do, I can honestly say that the whole trip was to break us. You know what I mean? No, was to basically get us to change mind states. You know what I'm saying? Because schooling was all that was good. Because you could really get by through everything. Like, knowing me, I knew how to hustle out there. I knew how to get money. I mean, I knew how to... if I wanted to shoot my class, I could shoot my class if I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? No, it's all... You know what I mean? No, you have the power to do all. But what you don't have the power to do is to really learn, like, why you're there. You know what I'm saying? No, because over there, you can't just do shit. Yeah. Like how you can do it over here. You know what I mean? Like someone can scream right now, the cops is gonna come and save them. You know, you call 911, the cops are coming. You out there, and you call 911, no one's coming. You know, you learn the value of like having someone that you could trust, because it's like that'd be the difference between you making it home that night. So it's like it's a lot different. So you start to realize like
so you could say you wised up. You see what I did there?
You know, exactly. Honestly, that's exactly what it was.
I love that. Hold on, where's the Jamaican ones?
That's exactly what it is, and that's my. For all those who don't know, that's my slogan.
That's real talk.
You know what I mean? So
like, oh man, and that was great because I was hearing you tell the story, and I'm like, oh shit. That now in hindsight, that could have been where it was like, yo, you had to wise up.
That's actually what it was, you know, because when I came back, I was ahead of the curve, and everyone tell me like you're ahead of the curve. I was preaching shit, and people didn't know what I was talking about. And even to this day, the little kids, they now they're older now, and they hit me like, man, when you was talking about when you got back from Africa, I should have listened. You know what I mean? No, like you were speaking some real shit, and that means a lot to me because that means that back then what I was talking about, I was right, even though I wasn't sure and people wasn't sure, but it brought me in a whole new direction. Learning that shit and having your life being threatened and not knowing whether you're gonna survive or not, and learning that like, oh, all I have is my brothers and my family right now. That's a big deal. You know what I'm saying? That's
you learn the value. You learn the value because what's funny too is like, check this out for all you young playmakers out there that be some knuckleheads getting into some shit. You feel me? I know your parents probably were always trying to tell you something that like family's the only thing that matters, and you'll never understand until you get older and shit like that. And it is true. So you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like my brothers were my family, and I didn't have no real brothers. I have my homies. You know what I'm saying? Like they were my brothers. So it's kind of like when I had the misconception when I was young, and it wasn't until like when you grow up for real, and you're like, damn, okay, my family really, I really got to rock with my family the long way, because they're the only ones that will rock with you the long way for real. You know what I mean? At the end of the day,
that's
like,
true.
And I'll tell you this
young,
much:
you don't really know that, so you don't really understand that when you're young.
Like, I had Kid on. Now I got the Cappo. I wanna get Wise Man If next, and I want to save Deuce for last out of the brothers because he does too much. You know what I'm saying? I think
definitely understand.
I think you'll hear the other 3 episodes and be like, he's gonna come to play. You know what I mean? He's gonna want to be. You feel me? And so check this out. I bring up the brothers because, man, like I've known y'all for a good minute, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. Like, for example, my bad, I'm kind of stuttering over because I may have overindulged just a tad bit, right? But when I see my daughters, right, when they fight, I always think sibling rivalry thing. They're 2 girls, you know what I'm saying? And they be fighting and shit. And then I remember If one time he goes, man, that's how me and my brothers was when we was young. But he's like, but when we grew up, you know what I mean? Now we're tight as fuck, you know what I mean? And I was like, and that's when I met y'all. You know what I'm saying? I kind of, you guys, how you guys span through like what 6-7 years between the 4 of y'all? Like from If to Kid.
Let me think. Yeah, it's about 6. About 6 years from If to Kid. About 6 years.
Yeah, because I've been rocking with If since when he came back from Africa. You know what I mean? So it's like, but I really started rocking with him back in like 2010. You know what I mean? 2000.
Yeah, 10
2011.
years plus. Hey.
Yeah, like, you feel me? Like that's and you know what's crazy is that, like, 10 years. That I really feel like, especially with 10 years, you got a solid gauge on a person. You know what I mean? You guys always treated me like family, and I always appreciated that, because it's like because I feel like us being first generation born. You know what I mean? Like, our parents, they came from elsewhere, so it's like when they came out here, they had to get it. So it's kind of instilled in us. You know what I mean? Like, we got the hustler's mentality because we're alien to a degree. You feel what I'm saying?
That's true, man. So, you know what I mean? We see what they do and we try to multiply that. So
yeah, and like, ironically too, we have to outdo them because they, you know what I'm saying? They made it happen in a time when it was kind of hard.
That's exactly it.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they did everything for us to be comfortable and shit. And it's like, I be telling, like, when my daughter, she be complaining about shit, right? And I'll be like, man, you lucky I ain't rich, because you're going to be great. I be telling her, that's like, you're going to be great. You're going to be so hungry, passionate. You know what I mean? Because they ain't finna be spoiled. And you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie. If I get rich, they spoiled as fuck. You know what I mean? But maybe it's for their sake, right? That I don't have the biggest.
Yeah. You ain't gonna tell them that, though. I feel you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, you know that. You already know. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just one thing, because also that it's how I was raised. You know what I'm saying? My parents, they were doing well for themselves. You know what I mean?
Shout out your pops too, man. You know what I mean? Your pops is a real OG, man. For all you playmakers that don't know his pops, man, real OG.
Yeah, shout out to my pops, man. You know, it's sad. It's sad in this Corona climate that I can't just go post up with him, because, like, you know what I'm saying, my own OCD is like, damn, what if I come through unknowingly carrying it? He's hella old.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
that's
like,
true.
And I'm like, and for all y'all that know my pops, Playmakers, check this out. He be burning it big, and he burns good too. Like, sometimes he don't even be getting tree off me. Like, he be hitting up my folks. You know what I'm saying? You know, mind you, all legal medicinal. You know what I mean? You know, by the way, you know what I'm saying, for the D's,
yes,
for the
sir.
D's, because you know what, I'm me. You know what I mean? And they're, you know what I'm saying? I'm like a unicorn to them. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? You feel me, Cappo? Like
Yes, I
this
feel you
conversation
exactly.
almost
I
might not
feel what
even
you're saying.
happen. You know what I'm saying? Plus
No, I
statute of
feel that.
plus we exercise the statute of limitation. You know what I mean? So if I was ever to reference any stories, it's probably from 15 years ago type of shit. You know what I mean? 10
Right?
years ago.
Nah, it sounds about right, man.
Yeah,
Sounds
yeah,
about
yeah.
right.
But we're never getting specific anyway, because as men we have evolved, and like I said, this is a survivor story. So let's get back to the timeline. So bring me to the moment when they say, "All right, you're going back." Like, what was going through your head? Now you're going back to the States.
Well, to be honest with you, we was in school and we kind of like, we started. I mean, really, my mom kind of gave it up because you know how mothers are. They kind of miss their kids. So we kind of get our mom to crack. Our dad, he'd be holding tough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So our mom was kind of like, we could kind of feel the winds turning. So
You're like, okay, cool. We could press your moms. Like, you guys had
her
him out.
mom, that was the thing.
You had him out.
We had a backup plan too, man. Contingency plan too, just in case.
I might need to hear that plan because
I was just gonna run away and be a rebel in Africa and find my way back to the States, get to the African embassy and be like, tell them that I'm deserted. And I had a whole plan,
Hey,
it was wild, but I ended up
imagine, bro, you might have ended up in Italy with all the mother Nigerians right now.
I ended up thugging it out. It was a smart play, but when we got a plan going out, and that's when you start thinking you ready to come back from the States. It's kind of like you've been training for a long time, and then you finally
it's
get
like
ready
you came back from a war for real. Like you literally had to survive out there, even just doing regular shit like going to school and shit.
And then you come back over here and you flick the light switch and it turns on and off, on and off, on and off, and out there you might have light for 2 hours in the whole day, so. You see what people are complaining I hear about, and which is the reason why I was able to tell these youngsters, hey, man, don't fall into the society trap. But, of course, they wasn't listening because they're in society's trap. So,
and you had broadened your perspective on just how big the world is globally. You know how, come on, we're from the East Side, you know what I'm saying? We spent all our life, yo, this is the East Side. You know what I'm saying? And then you figure out how big the whole fucking world is. You know what I mean?
It's bigger than your hood, man. It's bigger than East Side Evergreen.
You feel me? It's one of those things. When you're a youngster, you think, you know what I'm saying? Okay, yeah, so go on. So now, you got your mom's. I mean, obviously out of love, so she's kind of folding. Where it's all right, I have to bring them back.
It's been 2 years, so yeah, she's folding all right. She's definitely on the fold, so we coming back and I would tell you when we were coming back, it kind of felt it felt like we were supposed to come back, but I didn't really all the way believe it, even though we was going through the motions. And when we got to this Lagos, which is it was the capital back then. And the airports are, and there's Abuja also. When we got to Lagos, I was like, all right, we're going back. It's for sure.
Oh, shit.
And then when we got back, it was just I just felt like I was on this, of course, first thing we ate was a Big Mac and some fries.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you know what I be doing? I be throwing bacon on my Big Macs. Playmakers.
Hey, man, with extra special sauce.
Yep, for the fries. That's for the fries. We need a side of Mac sauce, and they get hella hot. When you get up to see this is the move right here, because they be charging for it. So I get up to the window and I don't care. I'll make them hella mad. I'd be like, I ordered Mac sauce, and they're like, oh no, you didn't. I'm like, well, can I get a side of Mac sauce? And you usually pay at the first window. Then the bitch has to go and get it. Mac sauce. They get all mad. Hey, first of all, you know what I'm saying? For all you motherfuckers that's working those goddamn windows, quit acting like the sauces is yours, you motherfuckers. When if I want another ranch or another barbecue sauce, goddamn it, you're giving me that
it's
shit.
Job. Go get that shit, man.
Get that motherfucker. Okay, so okay. I have a dumb question. But it's actually it might sound dumb, but. What was your hairstyle when you got there, and then what was it when you got back?
It's funny because my hairstyle there is exactly the hairstyle that I have now, which is a baby afro. Okay. So when I went over there, it was funny because when I went to school, I had a comb, so I would have the comb and I'd rest it in my hair. So I'd be in church, Yeah, it wasn't a pick. It was a comb.
Oh,
You know what I'm
nice.
saying? It wasn't a pick.
You was original.
But
You're like, look, no, I
yeah,
did a
yeah.
comb.
So I would leave the pick even when I was in church and when I was in class and when I was outside. I'd always leave the pick in my hair. You know, and everyone always used to copy me and be like, it used to make me, and I would think like, oh, they talking shit. But then it's funny because
because you were setting a trend because they want to be like the
next
dude who
week,
did.
I seen like 6 guys walking around with combs in their hairs. You know what I mean? So it was funny. I was like, oh, okay. You know, imitation is the best form of flattery. You know, flattery is you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Hey, but see, look at that. Hey, look at that. You might have been doing something that the natives was already doing. You remember they throw them bones in the joint? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm telling you, B. That's that cultural shit
nah,
right
for
there.
real though, for real.
That's that cultural shit right there.
Nah,
right.
It was definitely putting me like, you know, it felt like, oh, okay.
What about
you
if? What about if?
If always had like the fresh fade. If was like a fresh fade guy.
Okay,
you know
he
what I
kept
mean?
up.
Line up and like, you know what I mean? Know the clean cut, noble individual, you know, first son, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ascending sun, you know, type vibes. You know, I was always a crafty, rugged, you know, underground, you know what I mean?
The diamond in the rough.
Yeah,
you're rough around the edge. He's rough around the edges, but if you shine him up, this motherfucker, he shines bright. You know what I'm saying? He's the diamond in the rough.
Nah, it was real shit though. It was definitely a good experience, man. It was wild all the way around.
I'll tell y'all this much, playmakers. If you see all the wise men in the room, right? If you see the Cappo squad in the room, you're gonna know who he is because he's the one that's dripping the most. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You the one that always outdoing it with the, outdoing yourself with the pieces. You feel me? Like
I'm getting another one too. So
like I just said,
another one by now.
Like I just said, I always see you outdo. You always outdo your last one. I like it. You know what I'm saying? It's motivation for motherfuckers out there. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? That to show motherfuckers that we really out here living it.
I appreciate that, man. I've been taught by the older guys, man.
You feel me? All right, so now you're back. Do you guys immediately get to music? Because I mean, we kind of brushed over that when you're in Africa, because you did say that was your first experience in the studio, right? Was in Africa, right?
Yes.
So when you got was that part of your guys' like regular routine out there? Were you guys in the lab a lot, or was that like?
Nah, it was kind of like a one-time thing. We had.
Okay. So when you came back, you were like, yo. So when you came back, you didn't even know. Did you guys know that they were already like fucking around with the music?
Actually, I did. See, when I came back, what's crazy is, you know, I had some money saved. So, you know, my cousin actually introduced me to a producer. His name was Duct Tape. Shout out Duct Tape Dre.
I know Duct Tape.
Yeah.
I'll shoot you. I did a whole mixtape. He did like half.
He stayed like in your neighborhood. He was like close by.
He's the boy. Shout out to Duct Tape. I need to find that kid. I haven't talked to that kid in probably like 11 years since we did the mixtape. It was all original.
He probably married now. You know what I mean? No, but shout out
right?
Duct Tape.
Yeah, shout out to Duct Tape. Okay, do you know Amtrax?
You said who?
Have you ever heard of Amtrax?
Sounds familiar, man.
He's an Asian producer. Dude's really nasty too. He's really hard, but like. Those fools, they kind of came up in the same era. But like, yeah, you're right. Duct Tape been ducked off in the cuts, pun intended. And you know what I'm saying? And that fool Amtrax, he blowing up. He going up. All you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Amtrax. You know what I'm saying? He's from the East. I like that kid. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, So you get back. So you're rocking with your cousin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he introduced me to Duct Tape, you know what I mean? Then I go to his house, you know, so I'm looking for a studio, you know what I mean? I'm in my studio mode, so I meet Duct Tape, and I remember at that time I had like 200 on me, and like, I just met him, and I met him for the first time, and
I'm telling you though, when you hear Duct Tape shit for the first time, tell me this kid's not like, I'm fucking amazing.
Yeah, see, and that's exactly what, when I first met him, I'm talking about the first time I met him, I gave him $200, and we barely even finished one song. So to him, it was like, who is this
oh
guy?
my God, I got $200.
You know, so so now he's calling me now. He's like, you want to record? So then I'm like, okay, cool. Like now, because that was my plan. And like I said, that goes for me switching my mentality from me being in Africa, learning that like you have to raise your value. So if I give you $200, I don't have to worry about if you're going to record me ever again. You're going to call me back.
Right.
You know, which is exactly what he did. And next thing you know, I'm at his spot every day.
Hey,
recording every day.
I want to point something out too, playmakers. See, when you out here trying to get it, that's exactly what you're trying to do. You're trying to get it. You ain't nobody gonna give it. You know what I'm saying? So, and in this case, you know, say you're an upcoming artist, and you trying to get in the studio. You know what I mean? Like, if they charging X amount for a block, get a whole block. Don't fuck around and be like, yo, and try to get a jug. You're gonna get jug quality.
Raise them value. Let them see that in you.
Yeah,
You know?
because at the same time too, you know what I'm saying? You helping the next man feed his kid. You helping the next man pay his car note, whatever the fuck it is. You know what I'm saying? But everybody gotta eat, and you don't want the jug quality, and you don't want people thinking that. Like especially in our field, we some rapping ass motherfuckers that's rapping about getting this money, and I'll be damned if I'm the one that's not trying to pay. Like I'll be like, look, bro, I got you. You know what I mean? I'm not over here like, you know what I'm saying? Plug that shit, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hold me on the arm. You know what I mean? As my man from New York would say, you know what I mean? Like, get me on the arm. You know what I mean? Like, no. You know what I'm saying? Or as out here we would say,
that makes sense. It makes sense. Now I feel exactly what you're saying,
you
man.
feel me? Like, and you know, so that's exactly what you did. Also, what you did right there was that you invested in yourself right there. Boom. You know what I'm saying? By helping Duct Tape. By like, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Duct Tape too. That kid's fucking amazing, bro. I'm telling you, that mixed, I still slapped that shit I did with him.
He had a real gift, man. For real, man. For real. He's probably still got the gift, you know. Just in different ways.
He played for real. Like he played like keys for real. Like I'm telling you, him and like Amtrak's, you know what I'm saying? The Amtrak's, I'm telling you, he blowing up. Like, but I'm talking about like they were like the hood Neptunes to me. Like, cause I used to, you remember Ray Fresh?
Okay, yeah, remember Ray?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, I used to work, I worked at everybody's studio. I'm in and out. I got my little hard drive with me. I'm making rounds. Everywhere I'm at, it's a jump off spot. So I love just working everywhere. Cause you know what I mean? So I'm never hot. I'm just on the move. You know what I mean? And I'm never far from home. You know what I'm saying? So I was just always just knocking hella tracks out with everybody. So in this case, that's how I met Duct Tape. You know what I mean? And then so go on. I mean, so now you fuck around with Duct Tape a whole lot. You know what I mean?
Yes.
When did you get in with like Dom? Of course you knew Dom because.
I'm recording with Duct Tape. Okay, so this is how I met Dom. You feel me? Which is crazy. I'm recording with Duct Tape, and I actually finished my mixtape with him. You know what I mean? So I'm actually serving. I was selling tree back then. I was serving somewhere in the Lucky's parking lot, right off Able, right there. You know,
and check this out, Playmakers. For those you don't know. Man, it was a dangerous thing to do, moving some tree, because back in the days, that shit was illegal. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, it's real legal.
Yeah,
and shout out to legal
know.
weed, you know what I mean? But back then, you doing some hot boy shit. This ain't no fucking, you know what I mean? Like, I just wanted to point that out to the Playmakers because
it's definitely against the law. You know, they catch you with some shit. It's definitely. I was definitely moving my shit. That's how I actually got my reputation. I was a very reliable tree man. So I had my mixtape, and he seen me walking. He knew I was Iffy's little brother, and he was like, "What's popping?" When she came with, I think it was Swayze. There was like they pulled up in like
shout out to P Swayze.
Yeah, they pulled up in like an all-white, Chrysler 300. He was like, "What am I doing?" I just finished, serving. So I'm like, "Man, I'm doing my thing." And they're like, "We should make music." I'm like, "I'm already making music. I fuck with Duct Tape." You know what I'm saying? No, and they're like, "Let me hear some of your shit." So, and this is very.
I can hear Dom too. I can already hear Dom. Let me hear some.
Yeah, this is probably the most iconic story that with me and Dom was funny.
I like this.
I gave him my tape and he listened to it. It had potential, but then it's funny because I was like, all right, I might go to track 8. You know what I mean? No, track 8, that's the best track. Oh yeah, all right, go to track 12. So I'm like, oh yeah, he's gonna love my shit. So when it's all said and done, he pulls out the tape and he's like, "Man, your tape sucks." That's what he says to me, though. Right?
I didn't think it was going that way. I was like,
yeah. He said, man, he's cool. I'm like, oh, you a hater? He's like, if you really want to get on, come to my house tomorrow. I'll show you what it's really like. So I'm like, okay, for sure. I come to his house tomorrow, and I go to.
So this is like 2009.
It's like 2009. So
because look, I met Dom like 2005. I want to say 6. Because I knew him for 2 years before If came back, and let's say 2005. And I met him through through AJ. Shout out to AJ, right? But I'm bringing this up to say because, you know, Dom, within like the first year, even especially the first 2 years, he was a bad motherfucker on making the beats already. He
you're right.
like, he already made his sound. Because nowadays when you hear even before he had the cork popping with the Dom P tag, you know what I mean? Like you would know it's a Dom P beat. You know what I mean? Now obviously he got the tag. You're like, but you know he had his own. Back then you
knew. You know, and it's funny because before he even got that good, he played me some beats, and I was like, man, you suck.
So you mean he was waiting to hear some music to be he
played me his best shit, and I was like, man, you should fuck with duct tape. Your shit sucks.
Well, because you know what too? Because duct tape is so musical. Like he plays keys. He's nuts. I'm telling you,
another level. So you know.
Yeah, but see, Dom is a through and through producer, right? You could say that what's his name? Duct tape is actual a pianist too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You feel me? Like
no, that's why Dom's still in the game right now because you know he had to do things that regular producers.
Oh yeah, he's walking. He took his baby steps, and then before he started taking his jumps and leaps. You know what I mean?
And that's exactly how we got cool because I'm like your beats suck, and he's like your flow sucks. So there we are. And so he's making the beats, I'm rapping. So now I'm rapping to his beats. He's making beats to my raps, and that's the beginning of me and Dom P. How that started. And then from there, you know what I mean, business, of course, and gets involved, and then it goes from me becoming, and then eventually I become Cappo.
Okay, I'm going along the timeline, right? So and we're kind of speeding up the process a little bit because so now I want to take it to when the idea of the Y Mansion. Take me through that because the Y Mansion was fucking epic. I was a part of the epic party scenes. You know what I'm saying? Like low key, when people for years I was running to people because you know I'm everywhere. You know I'm showing up at parties because you know what I'm saying.
I remember seeing you at the White Mansion. We did the Bogey show. Shout out the Bogey show. Remember the Bogey show?
Hey, it's still up too, dog. Hey, the Bogey show went hard.
Check out the Bogey show. How we living in the mansion, man. That shit was popping, man. So
I'm definitely gonna post the Bogey show again. After I do all the after I do Deuce, because then I got everybody that and Dom, because I got Dom probably coming up next week. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But you know, so back to the story, so right? Because the Y Mansion was epic. I mean, remember I would show up. You know what I'm saying? And we used to remember. So you guys would have like 2 DJs a night, and we were always the second half DJ if we weren't like, even some. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dog. I used to host the parties, bro. Like we used to come through. I had all the metal detectors. Bam! I give Iffy the metal detectors.
Yeah,
bam! Ain't nobody fucking around. And
like
because you know me, I'm like. See, first of all, here's for those of y'all that don't know Playmakers, we are gonna have Dom P on here eventually, right? But I'm glad that everyone gets because we all tie in together. But it all ties in. I tie in with everyone because I knew Dom and I got good with Dom, right? On every level, the music, the underworld, whatever have you. You know what I'm saying? This is just one of my brothers from another. You know what I mean? He was younger than me. I never looked at him as my younger. I always looked at him as my peer. You know what I mean? We always just rock. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, with that said, you know what I'm saying? I remember Dom. He would always tell me when he's gonna make a move. He would call me, and so at this time the studio's mobile. So this is how I first met you. Because I would just hit Dom and be like, "Yo, slide through." I'd shoot Dom a note, and he would just set up the studio because the studio.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Remember 24K had got shut down at this time, so he's just kind of floating around with the equipment. So I'm like, slide through. I shoot him a note, and we would just rock. You know what I mean? Knock out hella joints, blah, blah, blah. And then you know even I think I even somewhere in the dock have a joint with you and Deuce, but either way. You know what I'm saying?
You did a lot.
Yeah, so then he goes like this. He goes, he hits me one day. He's like, hey, what's up, Scott? And I'm like, what up? And he's like, I'm finna have this mansion in like a couple days. I'm like, word, where's that? You know what I mean? He's like, up the street from your crib. I'm like, word. Then he hits me, and now we're in the fucking mansion. You know what I mean? Like 3 days later, we're in the fucking mansion.
That's how it happened to me, man. I got out of jail. You know what I mean? No, I just got out of jail.
Oh, that's right.
And then And he's telling me like we about to get a mansion. And I think I'm like, what the hell? So we take him to the house, and I'm like looking through the windows. We don't officially have the property yet. He's like, we gonna get this house, and I'm like, nigga, you tripping? He's like, he told me he only had $20 in his pocket. So you can imagine. I just got out of jail. He takes me to this big ass house. He's like, we about to live here in like 2 weeks. I'm like, what are you even talking about, bruh? You just said you have $20 in your pocket.
Right, because it was about to pop so hard. When you got a house, Playmakers, it was like let me tell you, it was like a fraternity, like from the hood. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was a bunch of motherfuckers that lived there. You probably had like 3 or 4 individuals. There was, what was there, like 8 bedrooms, 6 bedrooms, something like that?
Yeah, it was like 7 bedrooms. It was a lot.
Yeah, and then there was like an apartment thing too, right? I remember Sway's had the apartment thing, and like
he had it was a whole other branch.
It was probably like only like maybe 2 or 3 motherfuckers that actually had legitimate 9-to-5s. Everybody else was doing something like cutting hair or doing tattoos or doing something else that we won't have to get specific on. Then there was a studio there that was bringing in revenue, and then you know what I'm saying. It was just, and then we would throw fat parties. I mean, not we, but you guys would throw fat parties and then hire us on.
We would throw them, man. Everybody would, man. That's what made it so good, man. We all, man, all of us, man.
Okay, check this out. You know what's funny? You're right. It was all of us, because when I was saying we, I wasn't we, it was just y'all, right? Because really, it was most of the time you, and it was so crazy that it was you, because I'm highlighting you right now, and this is not a bad thing at all. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, I'm a little high and I'm rolling a joint. No. I want to say this because Playmakers, Profito over here, he had it popping so hard that like motherfucker, the whole Bay Area knew about this shit, and it was like, because obviously Instagram, Facebook, and all this shit, right?
Oh yeah.
But like the fucking boys showed up one time and they raided the party, but they were looking for one man and one man alone. They said, "Where's Profit? Where's Profit?" You remember that shit? And bruh,
I remember that.
And you know what's crazy is they were hemming me up because I was just in the front. I was in the front smoking. You know what I mean? Smoking a cigarette even. I remember clearly I was smoking, and I'm hosting the show, or not the show, the hosting the party. So I got a microphone in my hand. So he comes up to me with the flashlight, like, bah, runs up on me. And he's like, and there's hella police. You know what I'm saying? There's a gang of them. Remember that? Like I said, they're just gonna raid this shit, remember? And then they go like this. I go, oh, and first of all, there's a line out this motherfucker. And I had to walk, so I'm way out the line. You know what I'm saying? And, there's a line to get in this motherfucker. And the line's so slow because, you know what I'm saying? Iffy was the best because he was the one that was like, I'll be the doorman. So he's collecting the bread because it did cost money to get in these parties. You know what I'm saying? And the women's was basically free, but you couldn't be no group of dudes coming in without no women neither. And at the same time, you getting, you know what I mean? We hitting you off with them things. And because we all got things on us, everybody got things, but none of y'all's bringing your things inside. You know what I'm saying? And then
That's true.
And then, you know what was crazy is like, because I said I'm with the DJs, and luckily I was holding the microphone. So I'm like, look, I'm with the DJs. And then I get on the mic, police is here. Everybody, police is here. And you know why I said that too is because they could hear me inside the party. So, but then I go, and I'm saying this while I'm walking inside because I told the police, I'm like, okay, I'll go get the owner. And he's like, no, we want Profit. And I'm like, I don't know who that is, right? And then I'm like, oh shit! And I'm rushing inside, and then obviously there's a fatty party going on. But I go right to the studio because Dom's still in there. Everyone's burning. He's running a session. There's a party going on, but he's just running a session and shit. And I'm like, bruh, hide everything right now. And the boys are here, dog, and they're looking for Profit. And then you're downstairs, you're like making it rain and shit on the fucking, standing on the bar. And I'm like, bruh, the cops is here. And he's like, oh shit, like it was crazy. And they came in raiding shit, like it was some shit. Because like you guys had it popping so much that like everybody knew, because even like when like motherfuckers was showing up, like it'd be like some dudes that, and I'll be in the front too sometimes because I always chop with If's my man, $100 grand, you know what I mean? And then like, you know what I'm saying, motherfuckers be like, oh yeah, we're from the town and this and that. We're like, yeah, that's cool, $10 a head. You know what I mean? Like,
right,
you feel me? I don't give a fuck where you're from. You know what I mean? Like, and no disrespect, but it was like they were trying to bully up on us because we're in the hills, we're in a mansion. bro. Like, but it's just a bunch of hood motherfuckers from the flats just happen to rent this mansion. You know what I'm saying? And
Nah, that was you know, I mean, they couldn't fathom that, so it was one of those.
yeah, it was popping. Some great memories. Even for years after that, I would run into like squares and shit. Cause you know what I'm saying? There, you know, that was what was crazy is because the squares are the ones who do. I mean, obviously you can't have just like a house party full of all thug motherfuckers, right? Like, you know, there's walks of all life,
Yeah.
right? But like, it would always be like some square white boy or something. Like, hey man, did you used to like host the white mansion parties? I'm like, yeah,
Man, yeah,
I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, cause you know, like they were all like youngins. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's true. Some guy who told me he married this girl that he met at the party, man. He said, I married the girl that I met at that party, man. He said, that was the best part of my life. He said, we married now. We have 2 kids.
You hear that, Playmakers? I was a host to a party matchmaker. You know what I'm saying?
Real talk, man. Real talk.
Look at that, Cappo. You just supply everything out. He's over there supplying love. He's like, you know, oh, come to my party, meet the wife for your life.
Meet your wife, meet the girl of your dreams, man.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie.
Real shit though. Shit though.
Even when you had like bubbles in there, remember? You know what I'm saying? See, we won't say no names. We won't say no real names, but yeah, remember you had the whole thing. Like, you guys used to have it popping. Like,
nah, it was turned up, man. It was turned up, man.
That shit was funny, dog.
And what's crazy
it was fun times.
Nah, it's funny because, you know, how you mentioned it, man. I'm actually looking at my, you know, I've actually saved enough money where I could, you know, me and If is trying to buy a property in June. Hopefully this coronavirus, you know what I mean, fades out. We finally have enough money to buy some property.
You know what though? It might help. It might help. There might be.
I know. I don't know.
It might hurt the market that you might be able to buy some for the low.
Interest rates is definitely dropping, so it's definitely helping.
Yeah. Okay, so now full on rocking with and now because you are one of the ones too. See, this is why I love Dom. Dom, he wanted to be the producer, but he was also it's everything though. He got the clothing line. He got the, you know what I'm saying. But he also likes to be. He likes to play the background, like, you know, he likes to be the smooth, you know what I mean? And then he leaves it for someone like you who loves the forefront, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, because you banged the brand so hard, and I loved it. Like you and then also with like Mo and everybody underneath, like you guys made noise, you know what I mean? Like even made noise so much that one of my influences in my rap story, San Quinn, like even San Quinn took no like. Take me through that. I want to. Can you tell me how you ended up meeting with San Quinn even? Because Quindo is like that's like one of my.
Oh yeah, Quindo's my man. I didn't do that.
That's one of the ones to me.
You know what I mean, from babysitting his kids to taking them from city to city. We went on tour with Quinn. We did a lot of stuff with Quinn, man. I was actually staying in an apartment, and then you know, my Duke, K Deuce, actually, my brother Deuce, actually, when I bumped into him. Out in Vegas, you know what I'm saying? And it's funny because when I people used to try to charge me $1,000.
I forgot that part. Get my bad, because you know I got the mental notes with the timeline, right? And you know I want because I also want you to I'll let you finish right here, but I want you to touch on like walk me through the Vegas situation too. I want to because I know at one point you guys were like, all right, we're going to Vegas like full time, because I know you guys was already making them trips. You know, I remember there's a couple times I was out there too. And linked up with
that's
Dom.
Where the money was at. Yes, definitely. Yeah. I mean, that's where all the money was at. I remember going on I remember it was maybe 2014, 2015. You know, I mean, I remember what was the final straw was because Dom would always say, like, you know, we got to go to Vegas. You know, that's where the money's at. You can meet anyone that's international. You know, blase. So,
you know what's funny, Doug? Me and Dom and my dad, we would sit smoking, and he would always be like, Dominic, it's the international city in the desert. On the West Coast, and like, you know, Dom, you would just see the gears working because like we would be because remember my dad was living in Vegas. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, there was even a couple times I think he even made sure my dad was right with some herbals out there. You know what I mean? But like, you know, and I would go out to Vegas, party and shit, and like I would always link with Dom, and it would always be like just for like 15, 20 minutes because, you know what I mean, he'd be in the wind. You know what I'm saying? And like
I never exactly what you're saying.
I never got to get there. And I was out there a couple times when you guys had the studio, but I was too busy, you know, doing whatever the function was. My reason out there. You know I mean,
a lot of times out there, it'd be all business. So I feel exactly what you're saying. It wasn't easy. You know, I remember it was a Floyd Mayweather fight. You know, and I think it was Floyd versus like Pacquiao or somebody. I think it was 2015. I just remember it. seen so much people counting so much money. Like the girls was counting so much, like the strip clubs was like popping, like everyone was just counting like $7, $8, $9, $10,000. I was like,
no, I remember even just for fun, like on the Sundays, I remember I'd see your post, you'd be like, yeah, took this 200, just waxed for like 5 racks. You know what I mean?
Though, and that's where it started from. It started from me seeing that shit in 2015. Like, I used to see so many people. I'm like, what am I doing here, man? I need to go eat, and it was the best decision of my life, man. I went out there, it came up, man.
I seen you. I mean, we don't got to get into the details, but
I'm
talking about you was out there winning. I mean, and you know, you had the, you know what I'm saying? I know. With the Quinn, now I remember. Yeah, that's right. It was with the Deuce thing, right? Because Deuce, that's crazy. Fucking Deuce pops up with San Quinn. I love that.
You know, he met him and Quinn had the Porsche truck. So, and
nice.
I meet him by San Quinn, and you know, and you know how I do. When I meet someone, I like to raise my value. So I tell him we got a studio. And he didn't really know how big our studio was. When he came and saw it, he was like, "All right." And that's what cemented it. Yeah, that's what because it was big enough for his kids to run around the studio, man. It was like 2,700 square feet, so it was a big studio, 10 rooms.
See, that's one thing I have seen the studio, but beforehand, because remember I told you, Dom would always be like, remember I told you he would always hit me like same thing with the mansion. You're like, hey yo, Scott, I'm about to have this mansion. Like I was in Vegas, you know what I'm saying? He got up with me real quick, and you know what I'm saying? Woo, woo. And then he's like, "You want to go see the studio?" Because I met him up. We're just on some street. You know what I mean? And then boom, he takes me into this little joint, dog, and that shit was fatty. You know what I mean? Like there was hella rooms.
Nah, real shit though. It's 10 rooms, man. It was
I was like,
studio,
which
man.
one's the studio? He's like, in this one. There's nothing, right? He was like, all of them. I was like, but see, I never got to be there when it was in motion.
I feel you, man. Shit, well. You know what I mean? I think everything happens for a reason, man. The next chapter, man, because we had a 3-year lease in there. We actually stretched it for a little longer, but our lease was 3 years. So you know what I mean. After that, it was just like, you know, you got to upgrade. You feel me? You want to have. We was thinking about actually. We haven't really brought this into the public, but we actually thinking about traveling in Miami. You know, if it wasn't for this coronavirus, we'd have a studio in Miami right now. So,
so,
you know what I mean?
But also because like places like Miami, places like Vegas, places like Atlanta, you know what I mean? It's wide open, bro. It's wide open.
Yes, and Hawaii. You know, one of my older OG pimp niggas told me that Hawaii is wide open. So there's as much money in Hawaii as much money as in any other city. So for those, you know what I mean.
And for you know, to clarify, he's talking about promotion wise because he's one of the best promoters in the world. Yes.
No,
you know what I'm saying, Cappo?
You know what I mean? No, real talk though. You know what I mean?
But you know what I mean. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, if you're into networking and that whole type of thing, man, and establishing playmakers, other playmakers, you really have to venture out. I think it was Hawaii, Miami, and of course LA. So you know what I mean? No, those three, you fuck with those three, you know what I mean? You'll have a lot of good luck. You know what I mean?
So basically, because I remember. Before you actually made the official move, I remember you were hella back and forth for a cool minute, and then like you know what I'm saying. Then it was like I remember seeing a time where it was just like now every time I see you guys post, you guys aren't in Vegas no more. You know what I mean? And then
yeah.
And then of course Dom, he was you know doing his nomad thing for a little while, but
Dom had a definitely you know what I mean. He had I'm not gonna lie, running business is hard. You feel me?
Fuck yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Trust me,
hard.
like
So
when I met Dom, that's what I was doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just running the studio, and you know the studio was self-sufficient. You know what I mean? Like, and then but when it's not, you know what I mean? You know, of course we have other means of making money to compensate for the studio, but then it's like you know the studio is supposed to be a tool. Just like when you have a mansion, like when you're young with a mansion, the mansion's gonna make money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everything is gonna make money. Like okay, if I got a studio, the studio's making money. Like I actually feel it's more beneficial right now for everyone to have home studios, obviously because of this Corona shit. But like, just for motherfuckers in general, like, just because you know, if you could pump out hella volume, that's the dope, that's the work right there.
Yes.
And then you only need one engineer. Bow here, send it to your engineer. Or get on your game. Watch some tutorials while you're in this Corona shit. You know what I mean? Like, fuck it. Just content is key right now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, learn some shit. Learn some shit. You're
yeah.
right.
Okay, so basically the lease is kind of coming up in Vegas. You know what I'm saying? Like, first of all, I enjoyed watching you guys' social medias when you guys were in Vegas because it's like
Nah, real shit though.
when you guys lived out there because it's like I'm watching a show. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, yeah, because they out there living the life. They in the parties, going to day parties in the day, going to night, in the clubs, in and out of clubs at night. You know what I'm saying? Riding in
for
nice
real.
cars all day. You know what I'm saying? Stupid banditos on them. You know what I mean? All
Nah,
day.
it was
Jewels
popping
and
from-
shining,
yeah.
all custom pieces. You know what I'm saying? Fucking.
Nah, it was popping. It was definitely. It was just like basically just a wine. It was another wine mansion. So
That's
it
true.
was-
I didn't think of that.
You know what I mean? Wow. You know what I mean? That's what I could say.
Oh, you see that, Playmakers? Now I'm gonna point that out too. See, that's one thing he said earlier. He said it was about the next chapter. We were done with that. So you went from the Y mansion, then it was like boom, then you go to Vegas, and then bam, it's like so now. What's next? So now that kind of brings us to the present day, right? Like, so what is next for Profito?
Well,
Tell me
next
about the
Profito
music.
is-
Tell me about the music. Tell me about everything's going on. How you dealing with this Corona climate confinement? Because
Well,
I know
right
you're
now,
still doing it
I'm
wiggling.
staying away from motherfuckers. You feel me? Like, you know what I mean? I'm really You feel me? I'm eating vitamin C and all that. The move right now is it gets to a point where you figure out like it's kind of like cracking the code. First you think that you need like 50 niggas, and then you think you need 30, then you need 20. When it's like you really only need a handful to take over.
I mean, think about it. Look at the Justice League. You know what I'm saying? Or like
Exactly.
the Avengers. There ain't like 20 of them motherfuckers. You feel
Nah,
me?
there ain't a million of them. You feel me? You know what I mean? So
You
I
feel
was
me?
right now.
Like that.
You know what I mean?
Hey,
Right now,
run that back for them. Run that back from. You say at first you thought you needed 50 of them. Go ahead, run that back.
Yeah, nah, first you thought you needed 50, thought you need 30, thought you need, you know what I'm saying? You only need a handful, you know what I mean? Super soldiers, you know what I'm saying? And that's what gets the job done, the mission. You feel me? So right now, the
A
move
handful
right
of
now,
playmakers, B.
exactly, handful of playmakers. So like I said, right now the plan is, I didn't hustle up enough money, whereas I could get me a little piece of land. First you hustle on the block, then the goal is to buy the block. So right now the goal is to buy a piece of the block. I'm looking for property in Sacramento or Las Vegas. My older brother, the Baker's man, is joining me on this venture. So we're looking to.
Hey,
we're
check
looking to
this
buy
out.
some property.
My dad's doing. He's doing this thing again in Vegas, dog. Let me know, dog.
Yes,
he goes to the auctions, all the shit. You feel me? I'm for real.
I need something like that. I'm planning on making my Vegas chapter 2 in like by the end of May. So I'm gonna be out of San Jose again. So I won't be in
check
San
this out.
Jose.
My
I got
dad,
2 more months over here.
My dad's been going back and forth, right? He's been driving because my dad like to drive like that. He's crazy like that, right? But like. Yeah, and also the flying the planes is like, at your own risk type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Unless they clean them up. And either way, my point is he's been going back and forth to Vegas during this whole apocalypse so far, right? And he's like, Vegas is a ghost town. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah. He's like, sometimes the certain casinos don't even have their lights on. I was like, what?
That's true.
It's crazy.
It's true, but
But you know though, the underworld is popping over there.
That's popping
for
still,
sure.
dude. Yeah, it's popping still. It's just like, people that are there aren't used to it being like that. It's a 24-hour city. So when they tell you, like, it's closed, you like, what?
Hey, when you were out there, did you ever know about that? They have an actual underground city? Like, we're like,
yes, they do. They do.
I mean, obviously you're not up in there. I know that. I'm just saying, like, that's just crazy.
If someone like Mark Cuban comes to town, he's not driving around the streets like the rest of us, man. He's driving underground, man. That's how you get to the casino.
Crazy.
That's how you get to the other casinos, man. You feel me? So
that
one
is
security
true,
guard
huh?
actually he's like, and it just comes through casinos. So if I'm driving, if I want to get to Bellagio, and I want to get to
shit,
I want to get to MGM, I'm not gonna take I'm going underground. So and they also have another airport there too. So. Where the big ballers know one day we will be pulling in with the big ballers. You know what I'm saying? No, in that thing, we just gotta keep hustling, man. You feel me? Gotta move up. You know what I mean? Can't stay in the same spot twice. Can't be stagnant. Gotta keep going, man. Gotta keep attracting, which is like a magnet. So I feel what you're saying, man. It's just right now we're just getting better, man. Next step for me, like I said, is I didn't have a mansion, a studio, my own studio. Now it's time for me to get my own crib, my own Cappo crib. Put money and time into it. You feel me? And making my own really for me, and really reap the benefits and use that leverage to get me to the next level.
I know. You know, I want to point that out too. That you said you want to do it for you because you're one of the you are one of the motherfuckers that always went hard for the brand, for the crew, for the gang, whatever you want to call it. You always, you know what I'm saying. You always, you always went hard for the team unit. You know what I mean? And you know you work hard.
No, you're right.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but you know, don't feel like you don't deserve to treat yourself.
No,
you know what I mean?
That's exactly why, you know what I mean, and I'm doing this next move because it's like I feel that you can't just jump into the next venture. You know, I feel like it's like, you know, like GTA. You know, when you beat the next level is like good mission pass, but it's like you just get better and better and better. The missions just get harder and harder and harder until eventually you beat the game called life. So for me, it's just like I'm on this level where it's like, you know, I can't really do how I did it before because I just turned 30. So the plan is to get off the streets and get a piece of property, you know, and then.
He's still there. Yo.
Oh, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
My bad. I hit the mute. I hit the mute.
No, it's all good. No, I was gonna say I can still see he's there. I was like,
I'm still there. No, I was saying for me the next. Learning all these different. Like you can't just go from, you know, the next. You have to learn from the levels. You know, it's like GTA. You know, it's like the mission passed and the missions get harder and they get longer. You feel me? You just got to become a better player. So for me, I was running the block, did all type of stuff. Street soldier, Cappo, doing my job as a Cappo. Now, Cappo has to be productive, have to be profitable. So now, in order for me to reach that goal, I gotta step it up and get some leverage in the form of profit.
Leverage. See, and that's another key word right there, playmakers. Leverage. You gotta leverage yourself in every situation you in. You can't show them all your cards, and when you got leverage, you can make them do what you need or do what you want, whatever happens. You know what I'm saying? It's all about leverage and finding that angle. You know what I'm saying? Because and you do gotta move like everybody does the same. Like everybody, you gotta keep that in mind that everybody's trying to angle themselves, everybody's trying to leverage themselves, and you know what? Even for every man, you know, you might see the next man get it, and you might try to copy that. It might not be for you. Your way is the way you get it. You know what I'm saying? And like Profito said, he's leveling on up. You know what I'm saying? And
got to, man. That's what it's all about.
And we're definitely gonna have you in again. You know what I'm saying, down the road.
I would love
for
to.
Part 2.
Man.
We're gonna continue this story because it's a hell of a story. Like I said, it's a survivor story. And now that he's survived, he done supplied himself with the means that he needs. And you know what I'm saying? And he has a plan. And that's another thing that's important, playmakers. You gotta have a plan out here. You know, so tell me about the music. Tell me about the music that you got coming out. You know what I mean? And so the playmakers can check it out. Because I'm definitely going to... You also got to shoot me some new shit. You know what I mean? I got some of the shit on Spotify, but I want some of that exclusive shit I can show the playmakers for when I post this joint. You know
I got a new song called I Ain't Got the Time. You know, it's got me, Don P on it. I just dropped that one on Friday. You know what I mean? It's on, and if you're looking for me on the iTunes, it's Prophet the Cappo, Prophets space CAPPO, so it's Prophet the Cappo, and then you should be able to find me on Loom Music or Apple Music or Google, and then you should be able to find most of my music. I got a lot of releases. I got about about 8 songs that are yet to release. You feel me? I released a song called King and Me that I'm trying to get on the Black Panther 2 soundtrack. I released that in December of last year, so trying to get that official song on the Black Panther soundtrack. I released a song called Everybody Hate with my guy Noah the Nomad, which is one of the trending hot songs on Loom right now. It's actually, I would believe, since I checked, it's number 17 on the charts right now out of 100. So it's doing pretty well right now. And then I have another song called Call Me. I got a lot of songs coming out, you know. But as far as right now, you know what I mean, I have another song called 419 with me and Westside Mo just dropped. It's the African anthem. So I got a lot of stuff. I got a lot of stuff right now, and I got about 8 songs that I'm about to release, including one called "Call Me Santa" is dropping next week. So you know what I mean, it's about getting that sack off. You mean getting your bag right, you know. So I can try to call me Santa. So.
Boo all those motherfuckers that ain't trying to get their bag right. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So you know everything's going good, man. I'm definitely gonna have a lot of material for you for the part 2, man. I mean, I appreciate Bogard Scott Free taking his time, and you definitely been doing this podcast interview and stuff for a while now. So just gotta keep it up, and you will get recognized like you already are, man. We got your back. For real, man.
Hey, you already know too, because you know what I'm saying, all this shit aside, man, you know, I'm privileged to say that, you know what I'm saying, like you guys always treat me like family because I'm
Family, man,
and it's
family.
vice versa, man. Like we are family. I love saying that, you know what I'm saying? And I also wanted to ask, right? Because this is one thing that's ill to me because I'm like, you know, I've been like family with y'all for hella years. Oddly enough, I always seem to like find out all the Nigerian crazy shit. Just and it's weird because the universe like brings it to me, did you peep that shit? It was that in like South Italy, there's like Nigerians. They run that shit. They're like
They're running like a mafia.
They are the mafia. It's crazy.
I was like typical. I was like, interesting. You know what I mean? No, sounds
but I'm just saying, like, it was crazy, you know, because it's all these refugees, and now it's been going on so long that, like, even, like, the Italian mafia, like, works with them. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
Yes.
Like, that's, like, they have, like, territory now, I guess you could say. No, or, like, even, like, or even just in general, like, right now, in the industry, there's a lot of Nigerians coming up. You know what I mean? I think it's a good look. Even all the way down to comedy with like Godfrey or like with the Afrobeat R&B type of reggaeton shit with what's his name with Ro Timmy. You know what I mean? Because I didn't know how to categorize him.
The baby's Nigerian too. The baby.
Oh, word! See,
so, yeah.
The baby's like one of the hottest rappers right now. Oh shit!
So and you know, we coming up.
I didn't even know the baby's Nigerian. See, that fool was hard. You know what I mean?
Nah, real shit though. Well, see what I'm saying? We coming out the woodworks, man. You know.
You know, I like to point shit out like that because it's like when I, you know, because I'm Filipino. Like when we had Pacquiao, I was like, Pacquiao's that guy. I was like, we got one. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
nah, real talk though, man. It feels good. It feels good, man.
Yeah.
Good.
But yeah, Prophet. So let you know what I'm saying. If you want to just tell them where to find you one more time. Obviously, that's Prophet the Cappo on everything. Actually, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Prophet the Cappo on everything, but that's...
Yeah, Prophet Cappo everything, you know what I mean? Instagram,
that's
Snapchat.
2 P's. Maybe that's 2 P's.
No, that's, Cappo got 2 P's, you know what I'm saying? That's Prophet the Cappo, PROFITTHECAPPO. Prophet the Cappo, my bad. Prophet the Cappo, PROFITTHECAPPO. Alright, for those I mean, Prophet Cappo. Well, you know what I'm saying? So look me up on wherever, iTunes Music, Google, Apple, you know what I mean? I'm there, man. I'm there. Spotify, I'm there, man. Just type me in, man. You get everything, G. For sure.
For sure, my brother, man. Appreciate you for coming on. You a playmaker as fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate that, man. I'm gonna try to keep living up to the name, man. I'm saying, you feel me, man? So anytime you need something, let me know.
If you get a chain made, just give me one too. You feel me?
I got you, man. As soon as I pass them out, like you know what I'm saying, like licorice, man. I got you, man. You feel me? Let me get this lick. Yeah, I got you, man. Tell Prophet say what's up, man. And all the fam.
Yeah, for sure, definitely, my brother. Appreciate you.
Yeah, and before I go, man, we was at the baby shower I don't know if it was like a month ago or something.
Oh, you know, it was the little man's first birthday.
Yeah, I love the christening, you feel me?
Hey, you know what's crazy? The little did I know that I was gonna be like, you know what I'm saying? I went to my son's birthday, all the playoff games, you know what I'm saying? I went to all the Niner playoff games, and then all of a sudden it was the apocalypse.
Right, and then it was the same day as the fight, so it was a good day, man. So I appreciate everything, Bogard, for real, man.
Yeah, you already know that. You already know how we do it. You know what I'm saying? That's
let me know anytime you need me, man. Let me know. I got you.
I got you. You know what I'm saying? As soon as we can start having parties again, we having them.
Yeah, you right about that, man. You right about that, man. I appreciate it, man, for real.
For sure, my brother. You be safe out there.
All right, man. Playmakers, man. Wise up, man. Good looking G. Wise up. Jamaica horns.
Hey, hold on. Let me wake him up. Wise up.
Wake him up.
Wise up. Hey.
Wake him up. You know what I'm saying? Wake him up. Appreciate it, man. Let me know. I got you, man.
Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna hit you with, you know what I'm saying? You already know. We'll probably this one's got to drop immediately. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you. I got you.
Let me know, man. I post this shit. I got you.
For sure, my brother.
All right, man. Wise up, man. Bogard, I'm out.
Pew. And once again, that was my brother from another Prophet the Cappo with 2 P's. You know what I'm saying? Because he be popping his P's. You know what I'm talking about? That's my guy. You know what I'm saying? Playmakers. That one was real insightful. He has a hell of a story, I'm telling you, and this series is only gonna get better. Cause what I'm telling, like I'm documenting right now. You know what I'm saying, all my brothers from another, cause they're all artists that I worked with on top of all that. You know what I'm saying, brothers first. But I make art with these motherfuckers. You know what I mean? And they got hell of a stories to tell as well. And you know what I'm saying, I'm glad. You know what I'm saying, that this is what, episode 4. Yeah, we're doing a move, and I'm telling you, we're taking you all across the nation. We got a bunch of cats from this camp. You know what I mean? Where we can continue that story. You know what I mean? And keep filling pieces with, and connecting all the stories together, because we all intertwine. You know what I'm saying? And it is a current success story, which is beautiful. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? For all you motherfucking D's out there, they're gonna try to listen to this shit and think some other shit. We talk about music and we talk about life. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Playmakers though. Hey, one more Jamaican horn. Just give me one more. Yeah, Jamaican horn. Uno más. And a Jamaican horn. Yeah.